Hey, what's good, y'all? It's been a minute since I've done a video like this on this channel, but I came across these two stories on the vegan subreddit and I couldn't help myself. Could not help myself. They just absolutely piqued my curiosity. And boy, was I not disappointed, and neither will you. You will not be disappointed either. You know, you guys watch my videos and I talk about activists and these people who, you know, show up and shake their tail feathers and make a big ruckus about animal exploitation and all of that. But what's silently going on in the background as well are these Reddit vegans who get together to share their ideas and talk shit about people they don't like, people who eat meat. And they make a whole ruckus, this whole hoopla about people who don't see the world the same way as they do. And the vegan subreddit is the single best place to see the highest concentration of self-righteous moral narcissists on the planet. Just straight up. You go there and you're going to immediately see it. It won't even take more than 2 seconds. I promise you. But boy, howdy do they make for some juicy, entertaining fucking stories. And that's what I'm here to show you today. That's what I'm here to treat you to today. All right? You ready for this? Let's get into it. Non-vegan vet students piss me off. Boy, we are off to a fantastic start with this one. We're like 5-0 in the first inning, okay? Like this is the big deal right here. First off, I just want to make this comment that the vast majority of veterinarians, vet students, etc., aren't vegan. Sorry for the newsflash, big dog. I know you expected to see vegans like all over the place. Oh, they care about animals. The truth is, the vast majority of people who actually care for and take care of animals are not vegan because they also understand the most important thing of all when it comes to animal agriculture is our dependency on animals to thrive as a species on this planet. They understand that, but they also still want these animals to have the best possible lives that they can and to actually help and have an impact on them. So that's why they become veterinarians, not to make the world vegan like you, for some reason, thought they did. Anyway, let's get into the story. Writing this as a vegan vet student, and though you would think otherwise, no. There's actually little to no vegans in my year group. Can't speak for the entire course because I don't know. And a handful of vegetarians. The other day, I went out for a birthday meal for my friend. There was about 11 of us in total. And the large majority of us were vet students. Obviously, I'm the only vegan there and ordered a vegan-friendly meal. The others ordered some mixed grill platter. I don't know what it was, nor do I care. It was a mix of chicken and possibly beef, and another one ordered an entire fucking leg of lamb to the table. Bruh. Anyway, we're talking about our course and how in the later years we'd have to do a required placement rotation in an abattoir. An example, slaughterhouse. Vets regulate what goes on in there. Without vets, there would essentially be no meat or dairy industry. And all of them were saying how they don't want to do it and couldn't bear to see the sight of an animal being killed. Are you actually fucking dumb? So why the fuck are you eating them then? Like, actually, who do you think is on your plate right now? I'm thinking about it now and whether I should have said something, but to be honest, I've already had so many discussions / debates about veganism with my course mates, and it's so draining because no one listens to actually learn or to be vegan. They all just do it to try and justify eating the dead bodies of mutilated animals, and also because these people are not my friends, merely just acquaintances as they were friends of my friends, and I didn't want to ruin my You sound like so self-righteous and entitled, it's crazy. This guy thinks he's like the main character. Sorry, I had to make that comment, just couldn't help it. Anyway, and I didn't want to ruin my friend's birthday meal. Not that it would really, but like the vibes, you know? It would just feel slightly inappropriate. So I just sat back and giggled whilst cussing them in my head because this type of dumbass shit made me want to body slam the entire table. Wow, how peaceful. You want to harm other animals because they don't agree with you. Interesting. Very vegan of you, my friend, to want to harm your homies because they're not vegan. Peculiar. All right, let's take this from the top to the bottom, right? Real quick interruption. If you're enjoying this type of content, I have a channel called Curlington Stories, which is dedicated to covering interesting Reddit stories I come across of all different kinds. Some mystery, drama, relationship stuff, vegan-related content, all of that, all in one place. So if you like this type of video and you want to see more of it just like it, go check out Curlington Stories. I just uploaded something really interesting there today that absolutely blew my mind. But anyway, back to the video. First off, as I already mentioned, most veterinarians are not vegan. I don't know why you expected that. This person was really shocked, like surprised Pikachu. He's like, what? They're not also vegan? Huh? Like, you sound stupid, dog. Now, immediately judging what all these your peers are eating because they're not eating vegan food like you. It just shows how self-righteous you are, dog. These people are literally in a profession that actually helps animals just like you are. They're in a profession that actually helps animals. And instead of being happy about that, being content that these people have chosen their life profession to be one that actually helps animals, you still want to somehow make this a negative because they're not vegan. If it wasn't for them, it's not that we wouldn't have the meat and dairy industry, it's that these animals would just be less regulated and likely have even worse lives than they do now. The veterinarians, for the most part, upkeep like the standards for slaughterhouses and farms and things like that. They are actually a good thing for the animal welfare. Take them out and the animal welfare becomes even worse than it already is. So you're lying to yourself by saying that they're responsible for the existence of dairy and meat industries. That's ridiculous. If that's the case, why'd you become a veterinarian if you think veterinarians are responsible for it? Like, that makes no sense. Make it make sense. Make the logic work here, buddy. Imagine that. Imagine thinking that veterinarians are the reason that the meat and dairy industry exists. Let me become a veterinarian as a vegan. Like, dude, come on, do better. And plus, you also knew that you would have to go to these slaughterhouses and witness animals being killed. So what are you playing at here? There's no logical consistency at all. It just seems like a batshit crazy little crybaby lunatic crashing out on people for literally no reason. But that's the veganism cult. They are always crashing out on people who are different than them, don't agree with them, don't have the same ethical standards as them. And I've said this many times before, that there is no such thing as universal ethics. You'd have to somehow make a compelling argument that your ethical standards are superior to everyone else's, which is an impossible feat. It cannot be done. So regardless of how you feel, you need to ground yourself in reality and understand that your ethics are not the ethics of every other person on this planet, and it's not even close. And expecting it to be is just delusional and frivolous. I mean, what do you expect? When you deprive your brain of necessary nutrients to function properly, you end up becoming a complete dumbass, just like this person here on this post. Now, regarding them like exposing the hypocrisy, right? Like, oh, you're not excited to see an animal being killed, then why are you eating them? Well, first off, you don't need to be excited to kill animals. You think most people that hunt are just so thrilled to see an animal die? Most likely they're thrilled to have food, because that's what animal husbandry allows. It allows people to have necessary food for their survival, and not just survival, but to actually genuinely be healthy. And I know the vegans like to pretend that veganism is healthy for all. I've broken this down many times in several different arguments explaining how it's not healthy for all people. It's not even healthy for most people. It's something they'll never grasp until, you know, they meet an early grave at 40 years old. But even then, on their deathbed, they'll still find a way to blame anything but the veganism. It's something I've seen quite often where people are literally like, yeah, I'm dying. And my doctor said that it has something to do with, like, I don't know, iron deficiency because of my diet, but it doesn't make sense because I take my supplements. Well, your body doesn't accept those supplements for a lot of people. They do not convert one-to-one as they would from the actual source coming from the animal products. So in reality, your doctor's telling you the truth, your iron deficiency is killing you, and veganism is the culprit for that. But they refuse to believe that shit. They would rather die than actually change their diet. Now, that's some people. You also likely know that many people quit veganism as a whole once health issues kick in. Like, you know what, maybe dying's not worth it, actually. I'll pass on that part. That's why so many vegans quit. Many vegans quit because of that. Now we're going to move on to the next story. It's an interesting one, let's put it that way. Dumped over veganism. Boy, do you love to see it. Hey Reddit, just wanted to rant somewhere with like-minded people because I don't know where else to go for reassurance, or I don't really know what, but I just need to vent. My 21M or 24M girlfriend, me, 24M, girlfriend, 23F, of almost 2 years, over half of it long distance, dumped me about 2 weeks ago because of my veganism. One day, just as a byproduct of another conversation, the topic again came up of how I have pretty much no deal breakers other than I want to raise kids with vegan values. Yeah, fuck off. Whatever decisions they make eventually is on them, but I do think a lot of the time that the largest deterrent to veganism is conditioning and unlearning paradigms. So I always wanted to make an environment for them where doing the right thing is easier. Again, based off of your morals and ethics, but sure. Anyway, she's a pretty picky eater and really only eats chicken and the occasional seafood, so while she's always said she agrees with my arguments and principles, she's been super upfront about how she will never be able to make that change, that she just doesn't have the conviction on this issue to make such an upheaval. Now, in general, I find that pretty ethically suspect. Why are you with this person? If you can't agree with their ethics, you can't understand them, you can't sympathize with them, whatever, why are you with this person? It seems like you're wasting your time and you're wasting theirs. But I loved everything else about her. Nobody's perfect, so I always said I'm never one to demand someone change for me or make ultimatums, as long as she won't undermine me when it comes to raising kids with my values, with your values. Oh, okay, interesting. Sounds like a selfish prick to me. Anyway, she's always been supportive of that, but one day, as a result of this random other conversation, she just all of a sudden crashed out saying that we have no future together. She can't always be worried about how the rest of her family is eating stuff that she isn't. She doesn't want her kids to see her like some monster. It's gonna be so complicated, it's not fair she's being held to the standard when normal people just live their lives, etc., and just ended everything. I feel so betrayed and hurt. I get that maybe this was weighing on her for a while until she finally dropped the hammer, but it just feels like it came out of nowhere, especially when she's been telling me that she agrees with me or supports me for so long. 2 years of work into a long-distance relationship, making such an effort of time and resources and love, and she just gave up on me and threw me away for chicken wings. You deserve it, dude. She doesn't even really eat red meat or anything else, just chicken. Of course, milk and eggs was going to be an issue, but just to show you it wasn't like I was dating the barbecue queen or something. I know it's maybe a values mismatch, and it's better to be sooner than later, but it's disheartening. It feels like I'll never be able to find anyone if I only go out looking to date other vegans. I've always been decently successful in dating, but since there's relatively few of us, I've never met a vegan girl while out on our dating apps. At the same time, I'm loath to demand people change for me, but I don't know if I can trust anyone again on this unless they can commit to trying to transition to this worldview. I can't wait around for the next person to just one day realize I'm too difficult or complicated to be around just because I can't stand the thought of innocent beings being tortured for my pleasure. What do you guys think? Anyone else experienced something similar? How did you cope? Do you guys only go out seeking other vegans? If not, how early on do you mention this as an important issue for you, if ever? Can a vegan and a non-vegan ever raise kids with a coherent moral code? I feel so alone and disappointed that the love I had for her was so disposable, and I'm feeling like I'll never find the person for me. I can't even really talk about it to my friends because they are all non-vegan. This has always been a sore spot between me and pretty much everyone else in my life. So I just deflect all the what happened, why did she dump you questions because, well, I'm definitely not going to get any sympathy or understanding there either. Anyway, thanks for reading it. It means a lot. I have nowhere else where I feel I might be understood on this, and any and all reactions, stories, advice, whatever floats your boat is appreciated and welcome. I'm firmly of the belief that vegans just really need to stop trying to get a serious relationship with non-vegans if their ethics are at the center of their entire being. Now, there are some people who are vegan for health reasons or just because they personally don't want to consume animals for their own reasons, and that's it. It goes no deeper than that. Those people, I think, can have a healthy relationship with non-vegans. However, these ethical, philosophical pieces of shit assholes like this guy are very different, especially when they're like, I need to raise my kids vegan. Like, it's ridiculous. It's unfathomable. I've talked about it so many times, how raising kids vegan is not a good idea. The nutritional expertise that you would need is far beyond what the vast majority of even vegans have. And most of them can't even raise themselves vegan properly without having health complications. Raising a growing, developing child with much greater needs than you becomes an impossible task, which is why it's a failed practice and is highly discouraged by all dietitians all across the globe. Yes, you have those few rare exceptions of absolute lunatics who are like, oh yeah, you can totally do it, no problem. They're lying. They're pieces of shit. The vast majority of them will tell you do not do it. It is not worth the risk that you put your kid through. Your ethics, your morality bullshit, your denial of your biology is not worth the developmental risks and the health risks that you would be putting onto a developing child by forcing them to be vegan. Also, that doesn't even take into account the social burden that you put on these kids, having them raised to judge others off of what they eat. When 99% of people aren't vegan, they're going to go to school, see all their friends eating ham sandwiches and Lunchables and cheese and all of this and feel excluded, feel like they've been placed into this bubble of self-righteousness. Because how are they supposed to have friends when their same very friends are doing exactly what their parents have taught them is immoral and evil? You teach them to hate people who are unlike them. You teach them to judge, demean people who are not vegan. It's not a good idea. It is a terrible one. So I could not imagine any non-vegan wanting to get behind that. And if you want that, then your veganism is much, much more than a personal choice. In fact, it's dangerous. And regarding this, like, should vegan people just try to find other vegan people? Yeah, absolutely. The only problem I see with that is it's going to suck when they raise their kids vegan and they find themselves in prison when their 5-year-old fails to develop speech because of severe nutritional deficiencies. And that sucks. I feel terrible for those kids. Is it possible to raise a kid vegan? Yeah, for sure. It's possible. It's possible to do many things. It's possible to jump out of a fucking airplane without a parachute and live. Doesn't mean you should do it. Just because something is possible, it does not mean it's a good idea or something you should practice. And it's unbelievably selfish to be willing to put your child's future, their safety, their health on the line for your philosophy. Disgraceful. Now, we'll look at a couple of comments to see all these goofballs coping with each other, because that's what they love to do most. Sorry for your loss, my man. You're right, it's a value mismatch, and it's better to split now than later. You're also right that dating just vegan women with a happy outcome is statistically against you. But hear me out. Don't date people who check the vegan box. Date people with the same values. Then you won't have a value mismatch. Chances are she's not vegan yet because this culture blinds even the most kind-hearted. Take your time and mourn the loss, but I promise you, there are women out there who share your values and it'll feel so good to be seen in a real way. You're actually in a much better position being a male vegan than female vegan, as there are way more female vegans out there looking to date a male vegan, at least where I live. You don't need to date a vegan though, unless that's important to you. My partner is Omni, and I've told him if we have kids, they're going to be raised vegan up until a time they're old enough to understand and make decisions for themselves. I also said he can't eat animal products in front of them, and he understands and agrees to all of the above. You can definitely find someone with similar values to you. You just need to find the right person. It's evident she's definitely not the right person for you. You'll be okay. So this person's actually a complete moron. This person's a complete moron. This person literally just described that they are in the exact same situation that the original poster was just talking about. and what they were literally in that same situation as you, and it didn't work out. Like, you're like, hey, don't worry, I'm in the same situation as you and it's gonna work out for me. Just find that situation again. Like, how delusional can you be? There's going to be a point, I guarantee, where your partner is going to disagree with you and you guys are gonna have a falling out. I guarantee you that it is not going to work out the way that you think. If you're a vegan, stick to other fucking vegans, for Christ's sake. Save yourself the heartbreak, save yourself the waste of time, stick to other vegans. It is not going to work the vast majority of the time if you are anything like these people. And saying, you know, this cope statement of, well, you know, you just got to find someone with the same values who might not be vegan yet, but basically you can manipulate them into being vegan. So you expect them to start showing them, you know, Dominion Friday videos, right? Where you watch Dominion on Friday nights, you get your popcorn together and watch animal slaughter together. And then eventually you slowly manipulate them and convert them to being vegan just like you. Is that the goal? Is that the plan? When you quote unquote find someone with the same values as you who's not vegan yet? Good fucking luck.